Hi everybody, how you doing? This is section 1.6. Again, you're already writing down your notes, writing down the title in your notes. And today we're looking at equations with variables on both sides. And this is where it can get a little bit complicated. And I notice a lot of issues with students. And again, the goal is to make things as simple as possible. So it's really important that you get like terms together and that we remember that we're trying to keep things balanced. And so today we're combining sort of everything we've done with expressions. Maybe we want to clean things up just on one side of an equation, but also now we might have to rearrange things on our equation. So we might have to take something from the right side and combine it to the left. And in which case, if you're moving from left to right, then you have to do the opposite operation. So please make sure you're taking notes, very careful notes. Please, I hope you're all watching these videos fully. I do usually have pretty good information. And then also, you need to show me your notes at office hours or after we take attendance on a Tuesday or Friday or office hours later, but I would like those before test day. So let me know. Or so we can get those tabulated. That would be great. Again, you have IXL B1 today. I want to make sure that you can see your name. So make sure, do you see your name in the corner? Make sure you can see your name. And if you can see your name in the upper right corner, then you know that I'm getting it, okay? If you're ever unsure, if the program kicks you out after 10 questions, it's like you've reached your daily maximum. That means that you weren't actually signed in to Clever. So it's really important that you go through the TUSD website, click on Clever, access the calendar, click on the link. And if you do those things, it should work. If it didn't work, then go to TUSD1, go to Clever, click on the green IXL icon, and that should take you in, okay? So make sure you see your name. All right, we want to understand what property is used for each step of the solution today as well. In IXL, there'll be little drop-down menus that you'll have to pick. Is this a distribute step? Is this a simplify? Is this like the addition property of equality? That sort of thing. So we want to make sure that we understand the steps. So example 1. Solve the linear equation, describe each step. Example 1, solve. And again, if you can highlight each example, that would be great. You don't have to highlight each question because I'll be able to see that there's work there. I'll be able to see that you're taking notes. These are the directions are what I really look for. Solve each linear equation, describe each step. All right. Here you'll notice we have variables on both sides, and this is what we want to look for today very, very carefully. You can see that we have a like term here with a u and another term with a u, and they're on opposite sides of the equations. They're friends, they're like terms, they like each other and want to be together, so we need to bring them together. So for now, I'm going to stick with one particular process, and I'm going to say that we want letters on the left. And I haven't used that before because we've only had one variable. We've only been on one side of the equation. So everything up until now, we've only had stuff on a letter on just the left side of the equation or just the right side. But now, because they're on both sides, I'm just gonna say this to you so that we're all doing the same thing. And it's so much easier to there's not so much variety in things you can do, but there's lots of things you could do and you don't have to do it this way. But I do encourage you to be careful and make sure you get the same answer. So we want to take any letters that you see. So in this case, a u is our variable, and we want to move these variables so they're all on the left-hand side of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my little equation wall. Oh, that's out of ink. Bummer. Okay, we're going to use purple and red today. And so if I want to take this 13u and move it to the left-hand side so it's with its like term, because I'm changing sides, again, we have to use the property of equality. And in this case, we want to do the inverse property of equality. In this case, this is the subtraction property of equality. And I'm just going to use equal sign. So property of equality really means that we're keeping things equal, right? Equal on both sides of our balance here, okay? And we subtracted 13 from both sides. And so that is our first step. Positive 13u and negative 13u is 0 u's. We don't need them. And so now I have negative 7u and negative 13u. That's a whole lot of negatives. It's 20 negatives, 20 negative u's. And I can bring down this negative 20. And then we can go ahead and this is negative 20 times u. They might have like what we just did just now, canceling those out. That was like a simplify step. So that might be a step on IXL. I can't quite remember. I should have checked first, but I forgot. I apologize. And so now we want to go ahead and get rid of this negative 20. We're going to divide by negative 20. And so on the IXL work today, negative divided by negative is positive, and 20 goes into itself one time. So we get a 1. U equals 1. So you might have to be filling in these values. You might have to be filling in drop downs to what is the property that we're using. And so they might have the division property of equality. I'm not sure. It might be divide by 20. Divide by negative 20 on both sides. I'm not sure what the words are. All right, so I just went and checked, and they use very simple statements like divide by negative 20. Here's subtraction property of equality. They just, in the drop down, they just said subtract, subtract 13u from both sides. Oh my God, I can't write. The other thing is, so they use very simple statements. That's good. So subtract 13 from both sides. The other thing is this lesson, this first one, B.1, actually you don't have any drop downs in this one. I'm actually prepping you for the next lesson. So we'll just talk a little bit about it. I did say you will need your calculators. They'll be very useful for problems like this. I hate decimals. Decimals was my first F in math ever in 5th grade, and I cried, and it scarred me for life. So I hate decimals. I'll be using my calculator. Now you can actually get rid of the decimals pretty easily. And so if you wanted to, you can multiply everything by 100, and those decimals would clear out, which would be kind of nice. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work with what we've got and see what happens. So first, I'm noticing when I look at this problem, I have lots of terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separated terms. And if I can do any cleanup, I would like to do that as much as possible. So I'm going to look, just looking at one side, and I'm going to see if I can do any cleanup here. Do I have any like terms? And I do. I have a negative 16.1g and a positive 19.5g. So I'm going to go ahead and use my handy dandy trusty rusty calculator and add those because I hate decimals. So I have a negative 16.1 plus 19.5, and that's going to give me 3.4 g's. So we're going to say 3.4 g's. 10.49 didn't have any like terms on the left, and on the right I don't have any like terms, so I'm going to leave it 2.5g plus 0.41. All right, now you'll notice I have variables on both sides of the equation, so we want to make sure that we are moving our letters to the left I like alliteration. That's an alliteration, letters to the left. And it's just one thing that we can do. So I want to take this G term on the right and I want to move it to the left. And so to do that, I need to do my inverse operation. So I am going to subtract 2.5G from both sides. And that would be the step. You would see those words, subtract 2.5G. Again, I hate decimals, so I'm going to combine these. 3.4 subtract 2.5 from that. And I get 0.9G plus our 10.49 is equal to 0.41. Positive 2.5G and negative 2.5G is 0, and I'm just left with 0.41. All right, now here is a regular old number. This is not an integer. This is a rational number, rational fractional number. You can see it's got that little fractional decimal there. Those are fractions. So I need to take this rational number and combine it with his friend over here. So again, we want to move it to the other side, so we need to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 10.49 from both sides. And again, these cancel out. That's nice. I hate decimals. So 0.41 subtract 10.49. And I get negative 10.08. And now this is 0.9 times G. And to get rid of that 0.9, we're going to divide both sides by 0.9. 0.9 goes into itself one time, so we're left with 1G there. And again, I'm going to go ahead and just divide by 0.9. You see that? There we go. We get 11.2 negative. Negative 11.2. There are so many different ways to solve equations, and I'm just doing the one that I think most of you get the first time. So there you go, decimals. Be careful. All right, again, do we have any cleanup? Can we look at a side, just the left side? Any like terms there that need combining? This has a C, this does not, so you cannot combine them. On the right-hand side, can we combine some like terms? Yes, we can. We have a -5 and we have a -15. A -5 and a -15 is -20. All right, and then we want to say letters to the left. So there's a letter on the left. I'm going to leave him alone. Here's another letter. He needs to move to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and think about moving him. In order to move him, I have to relocate him. And so I'm going to do the opposite operation. Because positive 6C and negative 6C cancel out to be 0, add out. And then negative 12C and negative 6C gives me my negative 18C. So we're able to combine like terms. Maybe some of you are wondering, do I have to show all of this work? No, I show all of my work all the time. If you could jump from this step straight to this purple line, wonderful. That's fine. I show all the work in notes so that everyone understands the same thing. So be careful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this 16 integer to combine with the other integers. I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. Again, if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. We're left with negative 18C equals a whole lot of negatives here, 36 negatives. And then C by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 18. And I get C is equal to positive 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive result. So we subtracted 6C from both sides. We subtracted 16 from both sides. And then we divided by negative 18 on both sides. And the first thing we did was combine like terms or simplify. All right, what do we need to do on this first thing? Distribute. And yes, more decimals. Ugh. I don't like decimals. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start by distributing. So that would be a word that you would see on the next lesson for IXL, distribute. 4 times negative 3p is negative 12p. And looking at my calculator, 4 times negative 0.14 is negative 0.56. Equals negative 9.2p. All right, and again, I'm going to restate there are many, many ways to solve these problems. I'm going to stick with my original thing that said letters on the left, but you don't have to. So you could move the 12, that negative 12p to the other side. Again, we need to get our letters together. I'm going to go ahead and do what I was doing before. So positive 9.2p, really it's kind of a good exercise to show you what happens. Negative 9.2p and positive 9.2p is 0, but I can't have blank on the right-hand side of a balance. There must be a placeholder there. So we actually, in this case, I need that 0 there. So I have a negative 12 and a positive 9.2. You can see negative 12 and a positive 9.2 is negative 2.8. Negative 2.8p and a negative 0.56. All right. Now I need to take my number and move it to the right-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and add 0.56. Hey, guess what? I know the answer to this one. Okay. Oh, I hope you're laughing and I'm not just laughing at myself. Okay. I know that happens to be 0.56. Okay. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2.8. Negative 2.8 divided by negative 2.8 is 1. All right, and so we get P all by itself. And again, I did use my calculator. Don't be ashamed. You're allowed to use a calculator. In life, we use calculators, okay? And I get negative 0.2. It's also important that you do use your calculator so you know how to use it properly. I have had so many students who don't know how to put this in their calculator. 0.56 divided by negative 2.8. Please use your calculator so you know how to use it. And we get negative 0.2 for our P value. Oh, we're done. How about that? I was surprised too. I know you were. Okay, folks. Please, again, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. I can set up an individual tutoring session if you need. Otherwise, ask me questions after attendance or during office hours at the end of the day. Folks, have a great day.